Hey, what's up? It's me, JDS4696, J back, and today I'm giving a review for my Batman Knightfall Volume 1 collection. And Bane is of course is the villain that broke Batman Bruce Wayne's back during the Knightfall saga, and this storyline occurred from it occurred from April 1993 to August 1994. So actually over a year. It lasted a year, but actually over a year. I know a lot of times they say it lasted a year, but it was actually like over a year. And this collects, like this volume I have, which is volume 1 of it, as you can see right there. It collects issues, the Batman Vengeance of Bane issue 1, which is only one issue and a great story. And then they had Batman issues 491 to 500. They have Detective Comics 659 to 666. And then you have the Showcase from 1993, which collect issues 7 and 8. And then you had the Batman Shadow of the Bat, which collect issues 16 through 18. So this right here, this book right here itself, this Knightfall Volume 1, it is over 600 pages long. It's very, as you can see, it was very thick too. See, at the girth on it, it was a very thick, like collection of comics or graphic novel, as you can call it. So yeah, now for my review for this graphic novel known as Batman Knightfall. What the storyline, the whole overall storyline was known as Knightfall. Okay, well, now in this tale, it begins with like an origin tale about Bane, the muscle bound guy that uses the steroid enhancers things, to give himself super strength so he can be real strong, and can easily crumble his opponents or whatever. Well, it starts on a Caribbean island known as Santa Prisca. And you witness this woman who turns out to be Bane's mother. She's giving birth to the baby, baby Bane. Basically, he's been born, and it takes place in a prison known as Pena Dora. I think that's how you pronounce it, the Hard Stone. Well, while in this prison, Bane grows up with his mother. But when he's at the age of 6, they decide to cast his mother out because she's sick or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So her body is thrown into the ocean with these sharks, and the sharks eat up and everything. You even see it in the comic. It's kind of graphic and stuff. So from that moment on, after his mother's body is thrown to the sharks, after her being I think it was sick or something like that, Bane still grows up inside his prison, but he has a very rough life in this prison, known as I think Penadora. I think I'm pronouncing it right, the Hard Stone. At one point, Bane even commits his first murder as a kid while in the prison, and this is all after his mother has been thrown into the sharks, as shark feed, as shark food basically, So he commits his first murder. And at the same time, he eventually gains knowledge from reading a lot of books. So he eventually becomes very intelligent from reading a lot of books and stuff like that. And he even trains his body, he does push-ups, pull-ups, and I think dips and stuff like that, and thousands too, which strengthens, builds his body up, gives him muscles and stuff. So eventually he learns about Gotham City. While inside his prison, he learns about Gotham City and their hero known as the Batman. And eventually Bane becomes obsessed with Batman and decides to, after he becomes obsessed with Batman, he kills 30 inmates in the prison. And then the prison guards and stuff like that. And I think the warden, they take him to isolation and give him this serum known as Venom, and it's a super steroid. So eventually they give it to Bane, and they he fakes his death or whatever, and they decide to throw his body out into the ocean, just like they did his mother's corpse. But instead, Bane, he comes back, he comes alive, whatever, because he really didn't die, and he takes out the sharks, and then he makes his way to, he eventually makes his way to the United States, and then Gotham City as well. So that's that was and now all that is from the first issue from Batman Vengeance of Bane. And that was only a one issue thing, but it was known as the Vengeance of Bane. And it gave the origin tale for Bane, himself or whatever. and how he came to Gotham City, how he was born and raised inside this prison, you know, which was like very rough for him. And he gained like a lot of knowledge. He trained his body to like physical perfection, and then he became obsessed with Batman. So when he travels to Gotham City, he wants to destroy Batman, basically. Now, to me, that still was kind of what was kind of off about like the Knightfall saga. It wasn't. It's like it wasn't like enough motivation for him to want to just destroy Batman, whatever, you know. And in the end, yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it, you know, but I'm sure a lot of people know about it, you know. It just seemed like it wasn't enough motivation for him to want to kill like Batman, from my opinion, you know. But yeah, once he makes his way to Gotham City, he eventually teams up with like fellow like criminals or whatever. Like this one guy he met while he was in the prison, if I'm not mistaken, known as Birdie. You know, they decided to like team up and like release all like the inmates, like all like the super villains of Arkham Asylum. And they throw also all like the super villains like the Joker. Then you have like I think like Two-Face, I think like Scarecrow, all them like that. They're released from like Arkham Asylum and thrown out into the streets, and Batman's already exhausted from fighting like a lot of crime and stuff, so now he has to take out each one of these like super villains, you know, and it further like wears his body out and exhausts him and makes him tired, so he's not even able to really like, you know, fight crime in his peak condition because he's so wild from having to take out all these super villains who have been released from Arkham Asylum by Bane, you know. And if I'm not mistaken, like some of the inmates there were freed in Arkham Asylum. I don't think Two-Face is one of them. He is featured in the tale though. Cause I think like his tale is like it takes place like a couple of weeks before the Knightfall saga began. But you have like the Scarecrow is free, the Joker, the Riddler, Poison Ivy, like Mad Hatter, the Ventriloquist, Mr. Zsasz, and like Firefly, and like other like known enemies too of Batman. They were all free from Arkham Asylum, so Batman has to take all of them out one by one, you know. And you could tell at the time that it was kind of filler, you know, basically for them like to give a storyline building up to his eventual confrontation with Bane himself, you know. But I thought that kind of made sense though, and that was no reason why Bane was actually able to defeat him and break his back towards, you know, like kind of in the storyline, you know, once it got to that major point that the story is really known for Bane breaking Batman's back, you know. That kind of did make sense. He was like so exhausted. Even when Bane actually does show up and fight him, you know, you could tell that Bruce was like so wore out, you know. He was even begging kind of at one point, like in his mind, to like for Bane to kill him, you know, because he was so exhausted, you know. So yeah, after a couple of battles like Bruce Wayne, where Batman he gets so exhausted, wore out, he decides to head back to Wayne Manor, or the Batcave, you can call it, you know. And at one point, like Bane, he eventually figures out that Bruce Wayne is Batman. For some reason, he figures it out that Bruce Wayne is Batman. So he travels to Wayne Manor. So once Bruce Wayne gets there, he like, goes into the Batcave. He comes back up into like the actual house itself, and he finds Alfred, you know, the butler Pennyworth, laying on the floor. And turns out that's when Bane shows up, and he sees like Bruce Wayne without his mask on, just on his costume on, you know. And then they have like their fight, you know, and Bane eventually grabs him and just breaks his back, and that is very, you know, well known, like in the DC Comics universe, especially like in the Batman, like, you know, universe, about his back being broken by by Bane, you know. And of course, you know, Bane is using like a venom that's like a super steroid, you know, that pumps him and makes him like real strong and stuff, you know. I always thought he was like a cool villain, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, he breaks Batman's back, so eventually Batman has to be replaced, where Bruce Wayne himself, they have to get somebody to replace him while he takes the time to recover, you know. So Bruce and Robin, which is the Tim Drake Robin, you know, they decide to recruit Azrael. I think that's how you pronounce his name, and his real name is Jean Paul Valley. Now Jean Paul Valley is like he was a graduate student at the Gotham University, who discovers that he was unconsciously trained since birth as an assassin for an ancient religious order. And I think that's where like the Azrael name came in at. But he's actually like friends with Tim Drake, so they decide, and he's good at fighting and stuff like that, you know. So he decides to make him as a replacement for Bruce Wayne as Batman, you know. So eventually he has to go and take on Bane himself too, you know, and like the other remaining like I think like Batman villains too, because he was the one who had the confrontation with the Scarecrow and a couple of other ones too, if I'm not mistaken. But he actually ends up having to take out Bane himself, you know, while Bruce Wayne recovers, you know, from his back being like, you know, broken by Bane with a spinal injury, basically. But yeah, I thought this the Knightfall saga, I thought this was pretty good, you know. Like I say, from my point of view, it still doesn't really give like a. I thought it was good. It was excellent. I thought the artwork and the writing, you know, like the writers and the various, you know, like artists and like writers and who contributed to the story, they did a good job, in my opinion. But I still don't think it was like a strong enough motivation for Bane to be that obsessed with Batman. And I also thought his story was very good too, like the origins that he had, you know, like from Vengeance of Bane, like with the story that Knightfall begins with. I thought that was cool. It's like the origin tale about Bane when he was like a boy and what they did with his mother, you know, how he built himself up and read a lot of books to increase his intelligence, you know, so he's not just some muscle-bound person, you know, he also has brains as well, you know. I thought that was a very interesting story and intro for the supervillain known as Bane, you know. Now, Commissioner Gordon, Harvey Bullock, and Montoya, they all have like major roles in this Knightfall storyline, which is cool, you know, because I was always a fan of like the Batman the animated series, and that's why I'm really more familiar with them at, you know, like Harvey Bullock and Montoya from like the animated series. So it was cool seeing them have like a strong presence in this Knightfall saga, you know. You also have like in the scenes that like the films borrow from this too, like say the Christopher Nolan like films like The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, because you know Bane was in The Dark Knight Rises as the main villain. He was also in Batman and Robin too, but he was like a side villain. He didn't even have any intelligence, because I know he was working with like Poison Ivy in that film. But in The Dark Knight Rises, he actually had like intelligence and stuff, you know. They even featured the scenes where he was in the prison and stuff like that, you know. But they kind of changed it because it turns out that it was, you know, it wasn't really Bane, you know. I'm not going to touch on that, you know. But yeah, but I kind of like the films actually borrow stuff from this. And there was also scenes where like Batman's using like night vision too as well. He could see like Bane and stuff. I think and like the other guards and stuff. Like well, it's like his criminals and stuff, you know, that's with him or whatever. And I know like they had stuff like that on like the Dark Knight, if I'm not mistaken. Like with the eye vision thing, I thought that was kind of cool that they borrow elements from like the film. I mean, what the film is borrow elements from the Knightfall, you know, storyline. You also get to see like a lot of use of like Batman using like the grapple gun. I thought that was kind of cool. Plus like when Jean Paul Valley, when he takes over as Batman, I already touched on that too, like in Batman issue 500 I think it was. Like when he has like the gauntlets and all that, and when he can shoot batarangs and he shoots like the rope and stuff. I always thought that was like a cool touch. Now the claws were kind of off, you know what I'm saying? I ain't really going too crazy about the claws, but I thought I liked the idea that he can shoot like batarangs, you know, like projectile batarangs out the gauntlets. I always thought that was cool. Even like the grapple rope. But I think I touched on that in my when I reviewed issue, I think Batman 500 if I'm not mistaken. I always thought that was kind of cool though, you know. But yeah, I thought I thought Knightfall was good, and the version I have was like I mentioned before, Volume 1, you know, and various like characters, you know, appear in the story too. You know, you have like the Joker, Scarecrow, and they actually team up at one point. Two-Face has like a showcase in here, like two showcase stories. You know, you have Selena Kyle who shows up, you know, like Catwoman, you know. All like his villains like show up, like the Riddler, if I'm not mistaken. All the major villains like show up, you know. Because after all, they were like, most of them were released to the streets out of Arkham City by Bane, you know, and that's what exhausted Bruce Wayne. Batman made him like all tired and stuff, you know. He couldn't fight or anything, you know. Well, he was able to still fight, but that's how Bane was actually able to take him out in the end, you know, and just boom, break his back, you know. I am Bane, you know. But yeah, I thought this is a good, you know, good story, you know. So yeah, this is my review. This is my review for Batman Knightfall Volume 1. And there's 2 more volumes in this in the whole Knightfall saga in general. You know, you have Knightfall 2, which is known as Knight's Quest, and then you have Knightfall 3, which is known as Knight's End, and that's like the final volume. But yeah, this is my review for the first volume. As you can see, it was a thick book, over 600 pages, you know, and it basically collects all those issues of the Knightfall saga from that started in 1993 and went to 1994. Very thick book, the thickest Batman one I have so far. Very thick girth, you know. I would definitely recommend, especially if you're like a fan of like the Christopher Nolan films, like The Dark Knight Rises, or like, you know what I'm saying, mainly The Dark Knight Rises, or a fan of Bane, you know, because it gives his origin tale and stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying, and just if you're a fan of like Batman in general, I would definitely recommend it. You know, I thought this was good. I would recommend it. And this is JDS 4696. All right. Hey, this is me, J Bat or JDS 4696, and this is my Batman Knightfall Volume 1 collection. And this collects like the Knightfall storylines that occurred from April 1993 to August 1994. So this collects the Batman Vengeance of Bane, and you also, which was a special, and there was only one issue, and it also connects Batman 491 to 500, and then you have Detective Comics 659 to 666. Then you have the Showcase from 1993, and they only had like 2 issues, which was issue 7 and issue 8. And then you have Batman Shadow of the Bat, issue 16 to 18. So that was like a whole bunch of like issues that it had, you know. Plus this right here, that, as you can see, it was a very thick collection, as you can see, you know. And this is over 600 pages. This right here, this collection of comic issues was over 600 pages, and in detail like the Knightfall storyline, you know, with Batman getting his back broken by Bane, and also gave like Bane's origin story too as well, you know. Yeah, I thought like the artwork for this right here was like good, you know. I thought like the pencilers, and there's so many of them, you know. That's why I didn't want to just single out like a one person. Yeah, like the pencilers, the inkers, the colorists, like I think what you call that, the cover artists themselves too, you know. They did a good job, I believe, from my opinion, on like the artwork of it. It has like good artwork in it, you know. Like the look of like the main heroes and villains and stuff like that. I thought they did a good job on it, you know. It was very cool looking and awesome, you know, as well, you know. Plus, I like how they designed Bane too. I thought he was like a cool, you know, villain, like new villain in the Batman universe at the time, you know. And this was a pretty hot storyline back. I remember when like Superman and Doomsday. I remember when that was around, and that was like Superman's major storyline. Whereas this, like Bruce Wayne, Batman getting his back broken, that was actually like Batman's major like storyline at the time, you know. And yeah, these issues, like this storyline, occurred from 1993 to 1994. And this version I have of it is the Knightfall Volume 1, as you can see right there. Very thick book too, as you can see the girth on it, thick girth. And I always liked that cover of like Bane breaking Batman's back. I always thought that was cool, you know. Yeah, the T-Rex over here too as well, you know, like, you know, stuff from like in the Batcave, that Abraham Lincoln penny and stuff as well, you know. So yeah, I'm just showing like my Batman Knightfall Volume 1 collection. The Knightfall saga, it was so long that they actually had like 2 more like collections. You have like the Knightfall Volume 2 collection, which is known as Night Quest, and then you have a 3rd and final one, which is known as Night's End. And they complete the whole overall Knightfall saga, you know. That started with Batman getting his back broken, then he had to recover, then you had a replacement for Batman and all that kind of stuff, you know. Okay, yeah, so yeah, this is my Batman Knightfall Volume 1 collection. Alright.